Oh yeah, I'm the one and two, the one and only DJ ARC, Mobile Force Productions in full effect. Yeah, here we got our segment over here, support our troops but bring them back. Reporting live from a Black Hawk helicopter, WARCradio.com. I'm over here with Lil Johny over here. Today we're going to just talk about a couple of things with our U.S. Army. Support our troops or else.
How's it going, guys? Well, I want to talk to you about our great superpower troop system we have now. We got about 125,000 troops in the Middle East. And that number's going to be decreasing soon. Why? Because we got to bring our troops home and support what they did. They fought a long war for around 10 years. They've been very active. They moved equipment, machinery, tanks, guns to that part of the world. And it's time to bring them home. Back our troops, but bring them home. And it's one of those things that when you want to go through numbers, when you want to cut through numbers, when you want to, what the American citizen is paying to have troops in that part of the world, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's a big business. The Pentagon understands this. The financiers of this war understand this. And they want to keep it going. But we can't. We can't afford this. So what do we do? What do you think we do, Joe? We got to bring 125,000 troops home. And what does that do to our unemployment numbers?
You know what we do? We have to protect our borders, what we've been wanting to do all this time.
Now, if we leave these troops in that part of the world, you got Berinsky. You got Berinsky of Obama's administration. He wants to go into Russia. Your new presidential candidate, Romney, is talking about going into Russia. Mm-hmm. He has something, whatever it is, he has something that the corporate neocons want us to go into Russia. Can't do that. That'll be destructive. That'll be something that, too much money, it'll be a phenomenal cost for us. So, how do we break down 125,000 troops, keep our unemployment low, but use them when they come back home? That's the key question. And you said it, bro. The borders. You bring our troops, at least you put 25 to 40,000 troops on our borders. Texas, Mexico, that's a big fighting area going on there. Arizona, we can use those troops here in the from the Middle East in the U.S. to protect our homeland. Now, we have another war nobody wants to talk about, and that's the Koreans, the Korean War. The South Koreans, feel that it's time that the North and the South unite, or whatever the case is. Strengthen that deployment status. Put 10, 15,000 more troops in South Korea. Bring them back over there. But in the final analysis, some of these troops will be unemployed. I don't care what numbers, I don't care. It's going to go on our unemployment figures. At least 40,000 troops are going to come back home looking for jobs. 17, 18, 19-year-old kids that are out of work at this moment, But it's a cost that we'll deal with. The unemployment system in the U.S. is going to have to, one way or the other, understand that, and unemployment will rise in the United States. Will rise. But if you're thinking of having the troops over there, financially, either way will feel the pinch. You got to pay to have them there, or pay his unemployment over here. And the Pentagon knows this. So this election coming up is something that the Romney administration wants to use these guys. The neocons want to continue this war, and it's something I don't see. I don't know how we're going to be able to utilize this group again to continue using them to fight in other wars. It's over. This war is over in the Middle East. It's time to bring these guys home. It's time to bring them to the Manhattan of Canyon of Heroes and celebrate what they did.
Yes, Fifth Avenue Parade, Central
Fifth
Park.
Avenue Parade for what these
Get
men,
your confetti ready, girls. Get your men back home. You know, come see your kids. Let these guys, you know, relax for a little while.
government asked for military people. They utilize them, but it's time to bring them home. We have a big economy that we have to fix. We have 300 million taxpayers in the U.S., and it's time to put the arms down and come home. And you know what? The United States of America for the past 10 years has been fighting this war in the Middle East, the redistribution of oil wells. We got the control that we need. Corporate companies made their financial pinches, and you know, I don't see it anymore of keeping our soldiers out there or having to keep them out there. You bring them home, you put them on the border, you use them in certain parts of the world where we need to re-up on our soldier supply, and you move it out. You get out of the Middle East. And the heroin. Let's talk about drugs. Let's talk about the heroin. The United States has been over there for 10 years. We are watching those poppy seeds. We have Marines in those areas. You know, that drug war ain't going nowhere. You know, it's not. The Russians know that. The Russians know eventually we'll get out there. But the redistribution of our tax finances for this war has to stop. And you know, Biden said it correctly. He looked at the cameras and he said 49% of our allies agreed with us that at 2014 we need to be out of the Middle East. And we're going to be out of the Middle East, you know? But this election is something we got to watch. It's going to be a stringent election. I support and I back Obama.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, he is not the greatest ever president to ever been into office. But you know what? He's keeping it real. He's keeping it real as much as he can. 20 years from now, 25 years from now, when the talks of socialism are talked about in the United States, he'll be the president. He'll be the one they're talked about. He'll be the presidential leader who says, well, we tried certain things. Socialism is going to be a failure in this United States. The system can't accept it. It's something that, and Romney has a lot of great ideas. He's an extremely smart businessman. He's an extremely smart businessman. And that's why you hear him, you hear his ideas, and they sound great. But here's the problem. When he sits in the White House, when he sits in the chair, it's the Republican Party that says, no, this is what you're doing here. And that's going to be the problem there. You see, you go into Washington with all these ideas, okay. And when you sit in that chair, the Republican Party says, well, you know, that was a good idea you had, but we're not going to do that. This is what you're going to push. This is what the system needs now. Not your incredible millionaire ideas. No. This is what you're going to have to do. And you're going to have to do it with $5 trillion of tax cuts. These are the numbers that during this election, during each meeting, I want everyone to listen to the way these men are speaking. And who came out with the $5 trillion? Obama. He said $5 trillion and $2 trillion for our military. And Romney looked at him like, oh, I never said that. No. Those are the numbers. Because Obama sits in Washington. And he knows what the Republicans want, what the Democrats want. And the $5 trillion in tax cuts is something the Republican Party will push to Obama if he wins. But Obama says, no, I never said that. No, sure.
You mean Romney?
Romney, I'm sorry. Romney says, no, I never. He knows. So when Obama pushed that out, that was the key point and the key statement you have to hear in their debate. Now Biden, what did Biden do? Biden let the kid talk. Biden ate that kid's ass. Biden did a great job.
Yeah.
Represented.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I'm very proud of our vice president. He did a good job. He looked at this kid.
That said, you're done.
Laughed and said, "Oh, kid, I'm gonna eat your butt here." And you know what? He was correct. He was right. But what did Biden do? He came out with the $5 trillion tax. He said it in like 45 minutes to this election. Let's talk about the $5 trillion tax break for the wealthy. That's something that's very important. But now the Republicans are holding up the tax breaks for the middle class. The guy who owns the house, the guy who rents a car, the guy who has tax cuts and on property exemptions that he needs. We need $2,200 back a year, $3,300, $40, depending on your tax rate. And the Republican Party are holding that up. So this election is going to be really hard. But remember something. Obama came into office during the worst economy that the U.S. has ever had. The worst.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? You've got to support this man. As a black African American in the United States, you have to sit back and say, you know what? We got to give this man another shot. We got to help this guy out. We got to come together and all go to the votes and to the polling votes and back him up. And you know what? I think Obama's going to win. He's going to win by maybe 2 points. 1.5 points, half a point. It'll be a
neck and neck. It's going to be like that giant game the other day where it was close.
It's going to be like a Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy election. John won that by 100,000 votes. But you know what? In the final analysis, that's what you need right now. And I am so proud of being an American.
Hell yeah.
You know? We are suffering. We're struggling. But you know what? We're in the best country in the world right now.
Hell yeah.
We have the best.
Sucks to be you wherever you're at if you're not in the United States. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to rub it in, but it's the truth.
We have the best military in the world right now. Thank God. You know, God blesses America. He has blessed us. Oh, absolutely. But when we go back to the troop movement for a minute, we got to bring those guys home and thank them.
Yeah.
For the chances they took in their lives to go out there. They're in a primitive part of the world that don't like Christians, don't like Jews. They don't stand and have any belief in our country. It's okay. It's okay. It's something that, down the road, those changes come. But financially, it's a pinch that I don't think we could afford anymore. And there's talks, if you look at this Ryan kid, this Republican vice presidential, he talked about cuts that he would make as military, getting rid of 20,000 this, 30,000 this, 12 to 13 plane cargo lifts and stuff like that. These things are going to happen. These things are going to happen. In 2001, when those buildings went down, in 2001, when those 2 buildings went down, institutions changed and everybody got their money back. Institutions all across this country cashed in, got federal grants, all the money. They got their money back. And it is something that when you sit back as a small guy, as the little guy, the poor guy, you realize it's a lot of money in the U.S. It's a big economy, big economy. And George Bush was a great salesman. He got up on TV. You looked at him, you say, yeah.